Hello and welcome to the stream. Hopefully today the chat will work, but the idea for today's stream is going to be implementing new tiles for my Bevy game Herbal Alchemy that I made. So the idea is I want the environment system to see somewhat dynamic. So at the moment in the game, if you select a potion that has the specific effect up here, Tidal Wave, and click on land, it'll remove it. And if you get a potion that has Island Oasis, it'll add an island. So you can sort of customize and expand the land. What I want though is to have things similar to that city building game where you make the little dynamic city, but all you can do is place and remove tiles, where this inland section that's been completely encompassed by land, I want to become freshwater, and that becomes a lake and gets a lighter color to it. And I also want to add a ring of tiles around the edge that are deep ocean, where they're the edge of the map, so you can't place islands in the edge of the map, just to give a more distinct edge than just disappearing. It'll just have a set of land that's you can't place on this cell. So I've also got the idea of adding a reef tile. So at the moment the reef tile is just a water tile and a metal rock that I'm going to place 3 dynamically using random noise or something, just to sort of shift them so they're all a little bit different around. And then there's the point of this is there's going to be starfish that will periodically spawn on top of the rocks that you can collect as just another ingredient to add a little bit more to than just growing the one plant. You'll be able to work out what environment you need in order for a reef to appear. Once a reef appears, you'll be able to get different ingredients from a reef than you would be able to from the island. Alright, so just got a few things to do. So I need to add the color red, which is what the starfish color is for now. Might change that in the future. I also need to pop back here and say Herbal Alchemy. I want to go back to main branch and bring my changes with me. Right. So I'm working on making the game user tag system. So instead of giving you binary representations you need this and this in order to get this potion, it'll be you need these tags underneath, still be binary, but it'll mean that instead of having burning something arbitrarily flip or flip this one, I can make it arbitrarily flip bits, because those bits will be represented by things that would be destroyed by burning, so they got rid of, or transmuted when burning. So if one's present, it changes into another one, so things like that. But that's not quite ready. It's testing with the person that I'm working on this with. So what was I doing? I was going to my mesh mod and going, we need the color red, and red is going to equal 13. This is quickly going to get out of control with the scope, but 0. Yep, so 13 is red, and we're going to say rock is going to equal 14. And then we will go back to Blender and grab my rock color. So we go rock. We go here. We're going to grab the hex value of that. Go here. No, here. Nope, we need to go here. And rock. Alright, so then we can export mesh to PNG, so that will now import our colors into our game, and we'll actually get onto coding. So I guess the first step is to add our new island. So another thing I want to do is in the jam I added to my waveform collapse crate the ability to apply palettes, which is just an idea of sort of it will swap specific it'll swap colors to other colors, so that you can be I don't want a separate mesh for shallow, deep, and water. Instead, the way it's going to work is that they'll all use the water mesh. They'll just palette swap before they spawn the mesh to the correct mesh. So where do I want to go? I want to go to meshes. I want to go to islands. So we have dynamic islands and static islands. Static islands are like water, where it doesn't do any logic. Dynamic islands build themselves, similar to my other game, Untitled Dinosaur game. So what was I doing? So going into mod here. Probably get rid of this commented code because I'm never going to use it. Okay. So island objects. Okay, so island. What am I doing? UI. Okay, so this just converts that to that. Okay. So this spawns our 2 islands. So we probably want to add another object, like so. To handle. So we need to go to MapCells. And we're going to have. So we have water, deep water, and fresh. Water. I'm also going to say that deep water is now water and... No, other way. I can't move their position because the way the game's saved is in binary, which means if I move their position, it'll break save games. But I can change which one's default, which is deep water. So now by default, you will return deep water. Sand is off by 0.2. Okay, so... I don't really know if seed offsets are necessary, because seed offsets are like... We could make freshwater shallower than saltwater, but... basically, the seed offsets where if you're spawning like a tree on sand, it needs to be up 0.2 in order to not clip into the mesh. Okay. Now, where is the issue with islands? What are you saying? Okay, so I haven't met this. Is water. Okay. So we need to change is water from a bool to a... okay. Well... We don't really need to extract this then, since they're just the same. We can just say... well, I guess we need to extract is water, because is water works out which map segment to get. So we're going to go maps. Map. MapCell freshwater is also water. True. And MapCell deep water is also water. So this will mean that regardless of which type of water, like if it's freshwater, saltwater, or deep water, it will still calculate it, the connection, as if it's water. But I think it's here, straight assets. No, so we get this straight asset. We rotate it. Okay, so because we clone it, yeah. So we rotate it here. So this is our straight. I guess to minimize things, we should probably go... what we want. We want to say let palette equal to match neighbor I. Right, because we get I. So for sand and water, we want our palette to be nothing. So in theory, we should be able to just return a hash map new. So just an empty hash map mean, it'd probably be smarter to do these as constants or statics, but anyway. This would be... we want to swap not MapCell, UV mesh texture UVs water for mesh texture UVs. So we need to go back here and go. Let's select our deep water. I just got the game open, this whole thing. I'm terrible at this. Let me go here. Just realized you guys couldn't see anything I was doing because I had the game open over the top. Anyway, sorry about that. I hope chat's not broken again. Apparently yesterday's chat was broken. And I feel like the fact that people weren't telling me they can't see what I'm doing means that it's probably still broken today. So yay. So we're gonna go color pick this one. And then we want to go saturation, no, hue. So we'll go darker, and we'll pencil in that at 15. So deep water is equal to 15, and then shallow water is going to be that lighter. Okay, so how do is it saturation? Yeah, saturation. So that lighter. Okay, so 15 and 16 is deep. 15 is deep water. So you go here, you go deep water equals 15, and fresh water equals 16. Alright, so now again we have those colors as part of our thing. So we're going to map water to deep water. And on this one, we are going to mesh. We're going to map water to fresh. So collect. Okay. Cannot build from iterator over element. Okay, so now we have a hash map of. So, what do you not like it? Wait, MapCell, no. Mesh texture. I'm concerned that chat's not working in because again, nobody said anything. Well, I do have my Discord, so if anyone actually has any messages, it's... neighbor's dog's come over. I wonder if you guys can hear that. It is just losing its shit. So, if the neighbor is deep water, we map water to deep water. If the neighbor is fresh, we map this to fresh. Now, this will mean that it should not, well, we have to make sure it's impossible to map a freshwater and a deep water tile, either water, freshwater, or deep water to be adjacent, which may be possible in the case of the corners, because it may touch deep water and freshwater. So I think with that case, we will map the deep water side, but we won't map the... We should probably just not make them connect to deep water. that'll make more sense. It's not that they won't connect to deep water, it's that deep water, MapCell deep water. So deep water, it won't change how it connects. It'll connect refresh to the deep just to, because I want the deep water to be more like the edge of the map, and there's no way I can guarantee that the edge of the map won't touch a water tile in such a way that you can have it connect, and it would be a bit weird. If it connected both. Personally, I think it'll look less weird if it goes to water. Anyway, so we need to then say straight dot apply palette, and then we need to say something that implements wave palette. So it needs to be a reference to palette. Why does that not work? Let's go here. Okay, so palette.apply. Okay. Equals wave palette UV. Okay. But okay, wave palette, which only has the value apply, which takes in self and immutable version of U. Oh, we need to. Okay. No. For a well. Reference to a hash map. Okay, well, apparently for now we're just going to pass in the hash map. The question is, did it grab my... No, it didn't grab the local version, which means I need to apply that to my actual hex game. Developing the game, the waveform collapse plugin. Yay. Where is that? Search here. Wave palette trait. Just copy this, copy that, and say a reference to this. Alright. There we go. That'll mean when I push this next version out to GitHub, it'll have that that patched. Okay. So, the way it works is we basically pass in the palette. We might want to clone it. Or, I think, can I just save this? Why can't it save this? Why are you not? I want to give you a reference just because. Yeah. Trait bound, it's not. Okay. So. What's next? We need. So. Let's push a modified version to GitHub. So we go to GitHub, we go. Wave clap. And we go. Added. Ref. Hash map as palette. Let's push that. Okay. And then we'll go because I've got the game running. Update. Anyway, we'll leave you to update that. So that's for this particular straight, and I guess for this particular straight, because once we've picked a palette, we only care what the direct neighbor is. No, because so for this one we need to check. We need to go let the palette. Oh no, this is to select what corner. No. Okay, so we calculate our corner, we need to say let palette, and that's going to be match neighbor, and what's our fancy one? So Okay, neighbor minus I module. Okay, we need to match our fancy neighbor. Like so, I think this is so that it calculates the counterclockwise rotation that I've got to do this like 6 minus I is because it needs to be 0 and 5, and then it needs to be 1 and 0, so I need to like rewind them clockwise in order to get that to work. Anyway, so this becomes if so this would become map cell freshwater or anything or anything and freshwater, anything and freshwater. We want this one, and then everything else we just want to be a hash map. No. Right. And then we want to go down here. So we rotate the thing, then we apply. No, we go corner dot apply palette and then a reference to our palette. Okay, so again, if you're following along, we basically go, whenever we spawn a straight piece on an island, we go, hey, is above you water? If it is water, we don't, like, if it's anything but fresh water, we don't do anything. If it's fresh water, we're going to propagate. Okay, so then I guess the water cells need to do the same kind of thing. Well, except no, because we're gonna. So, static island. Static island just uses this. So, that would mean that the fresh water needs to, in Blender, have its own. Surely not. What we could do, go islands, so you don't know, island component core, so I've got a very specific set of island components apparently. Connect water, connect sand, okay, so it should be connect, not water. Anyway, it doesn't matter for now, we can stay that. So this is so our static ones just spawn the core. Build. Okay, this is your build function. Okay. And wave data. So wave data is the data that we pass in. So we're going to say that wave data passes in a pub type. So let's make you a pub struct instead of just re-exporting a type. Then you're going to contain what is it called, neighbors. So this is going to be your neighbors, 1 through 6. and you're going to be cell underscore type. No, you wouldn't be cell type, you would be palette, which is just going to be a I don't know if you need a hash map. I feel like you want a reference to a hash map. So we could say something like A, and this is just a reference to a hash map of let's do UV. Mesh UVs. Mesh UVs. Dash A. Okay. Undenoted lifetime. Wave object equals. So you're going to tell me that you can't do that. Can I do anonymous lifetime? No. Wave object. Wave object. No. I'm going to say that this is static. Well, I mean, the easy place to say that that's static is here is static. And if we're going to make that static, we probably need to use lazy static. Right. So then we track down the errors, and we go build, and you pass in neighbors here. Where do you build your neighbors though? Neighbors, here. So neighbors equal, and there's going to be a map. No, it's going to be wave data. And it's going to get old neighbors and a palette, which is going to be. We need to go here and go lazy static. Let me go back to here. Okay, then we're going to go. So I think meshes will get them. So in meshes we're going to say come on, lazy static. I think that's spelled right. Why is this not working? Use. Okay, I don't know why Rust Analyze is not doing anything anymore. Lazy static. Lazy static. I think it's just called lazy static. Right. Lazy static. Okay, now it's working again. So how do you declare this? Static. So it's lazy static lazy. Okay. Static ref example. So this is empty. It's called palette, and this is just going to be a mesh map of vertex UV mesh UV. Is going to equal a hash map new. Okay. And then this is going to be Control Shift down. So then we're going to have a deep palette and a fresh palette. Okay, that's going to be a mesh. So we're gonna map water to mesh text UV deep water into error.collect. Let me just check Discord that nobody's messaging me. Okay. Okay, so basically we're going to collect that into one water, deep water, and this is going to be fresh water. Alright, so now we have our pallets. Wait, these aren't handles, no, these are hash maps. Thank you very much. Okay. Alright, then in here, we're going to say pallet, so we're gonna, do we have access to yourself? Okay. Okay, so if it's not in the map, I'm gonna call it deep water maybe. Wait, so this should be unwrap or default anyway. Otherwise, default. So we're gonna say match unwrap or underscore default. Can we click here? Go. All right. Water and sand are not going to do shit. If you are water or you are sand, do not do shit. Deep water will return deep. Oh right, these need to be pub. I guess you both return empty palette. Oh, you return a reference to empty palette, and you return a reference to deep palette, and you return a reference to fresh palette. Okay, entity ID, let neighbor equals neighbor.map ID. Okay. Map. Okay. So we need to take this entire thing. This seems a bit convoluted. So cannot find neighbors in the scope. Spelled wrong. Alright. Which means I probably spelled it wrong. Yeah. Alright. Does that fix it? Okay. So now we have the wave data. So I think we're back to neighbors.neighbors. I had this, I think during the jam I had neighbors.neighbors. Mostly because I was just changing things around inside the, stop bumping the microphone. Internally to the crate, like while I was doing the jam, I was changing shit all the time. So it's neighbors. And now I have no idea which one's the correct spelling because they're all spelled differently. So, oh god. Alright. So when we say a static island So we get you, so you bake offset assets, okay, okay. So let mesh equal that monstrosity. Oh no, it needs to go here. Okay, and so this will be a wave mesh, so we need to be like dot clone mesh dot apply palette data dot palette reference to mesh. Okay. Though it might be better to make it probably would have been better just to make deep water and whatnot, like so like load it and then modify the palettes, but you know, whatever. Okay, so you're saying that they're both private, well they're not. Okay. So the question now becomes, does it still compile and does it still run? Terminal. Run. Okay, while that's compiling, let's move back to here. Okay, so when we spawn the world, we give an empty palette to empty, so we probably want to go to our map mod here and just go update mesh system. Where is our loading world? Spawn map. This spawns our map. We need to say something like if ID cell ID 0 cell equals that. So it's either going to equal the same thing, or the cell ID will equal MapCell freshwater. This will just mean that when I boot the game, regardless of what's actually saved, freshwater will be set in the center, because that'll test everything. Basically, it'll show if the center cell is light blue, that for one, I can change the colors using palettes. I never tested that, just pushed it to the GitHub. And two, it'll prove that the sand connecting to the freshwater will do freshwater edges rather than saltwater edges. Whereas the other side of the island should be saltwater edges, not freshwater edges. This should make us a really nice system. So, oh wait, no, we just do that. And say your map cell, and then we return. So you either return the current cell if it's not one, then return the fresh water if it is one. the next thing to do would be to what are we doing? So the next, I guess, is to now make island maybe. No. Just changing my game into more of an actual game. Like, I actually want to develop it into a finished game, and I'm working on making it so that you can like add, or so that I, as the developer, can add different types of tiles to the game. And then I want to have like the map dynamically update. So if you like encase a circle of water, so that it doesn't touch the edge of the map, it'll become a freshwater lake, whereas if it touches the edge of the map, it'll be ocean. And then I'm going to do other things, like if certain conditions are met, then it becomes a reef, or if some other conditions are met. So rather than every decision, because at the moment the player can create an island where they want, or they can turn an island to water, so that's the two options. So I want to have like different types of cells that only appear indirectly from the user's input. So that's what I'm currently working on, and probably will for another 20-30 minutes. Actually, I'm going to go grab my phone while I wait for this to compile, so have fun listening to the sick beats for a bit. Alright, so failed to load inventory message syntax. So far, failed to load inventory message syntax. Failed to load inventory message syntax page. Integer 16 expected. Tuple variant item intermediate. Okay, don't know what I broke. Well. So, one thing I've noticed here is that, and this is one of those things, I would have never noticed this unless I tried to implement this, it's not going in the right direction. It's obviously going like counterclockwise or something around the loop. And so that means that originally this wasn't a problem because these were water. So these were what? But the fuck, what? Okay, I have no idea. This makes like, on this one it's correct, but on this one it's not. Like, why is it? Anywho, why is this cell not? Okay. Wave object fresh water not loaded. Okay, right. I need to give fresh water the same mesh as salt. What? Somewhere down here, like where do we go? Islands. Here. Not there. No, none of those do it. It's not here. Definitely not this one. There's fresh water material. So mesh. Somewhere we must get core. No, it's got to be before we do this one. So it's not going to be in this. It's not going to be this one. It's not going to be this one. No, because this just says. Right. We can also probably say. So if you get this one, we want empty palette. And if you get this one, we want fresh palette. Okay. Do I have to declare that this is a hash map? Reference to a hash map of a UV. Why did that not work? Okay, I think because I have to declare it. Now it's a double hash map reference. Okay. Right, so you need to become a reference. And then... Oh, right, because you become a reference and then we pass in palettes. Alright. And then I think we want to do the same thing with you. So we want to go fresh palette. And empty palette. So it's probably not the best way of doing this because I'm trying. Like, and obviously really bad, like this is like I keep having to rewrite this up with this to make it so that like I don't have to specify right near the same thing, just actually specify what type palette is. I'm trying to make it so that like the islands are generic enough, so like at the moment if I wanted to add like a grass island, I could just add a dynamic island with the correct meshes and it would work. It is called connect sand, but it should be connect flat. So like you have the center, it can connect to water or it can connect to another island. Is the gist of this, and then in theory it should like be swappable. And this one kind of is, because what I'm saying is like I'm encoding how to interact with the different types of water. The water one, not so interactable, hence I had to add a palette as part of the thing so that the water, the deep and the shallow water all have the same interactions. Like they need to be able to take in a palette, but that'll also work for the reef because the reef will do things like take in what type of reef it is, maybe, I don't know. But the reef I feel like is going to need its own logic to decipher because it's going to do its own thing really. Mostly because I want the reef to be somewhat dynamic, but it doesn't necessarily need that because it's already got the ability to spawn like little items and stuff. Anyway, what am I doing? I was in the middle of doing something. I've forgotten. Right, I was working out why this didn't spawn. So what do you mean fresh water not loaded? Right, because I did the island thing somewhere. So we want to say something like fresh water dot into underscore handle handle underscore ID. Right, well this gives you the MapCells. Fresh water to handle ID, and then you just load water for fresh water, not wait. Map obj. Map OJ for fresh water not load. So I don't think I need to load this because I'm just loading this. Because I'm like, as I said, I want to use the same like meshes as much as I can. Object OJ. It's got to be somewhere in my map. Right, when I say like generate, make island node, update mesh system. Okay, so we go here, we go here, we go self ID to update, get or insert with updated. So we call update mesh, and then we update all your neighbors. Okay. And when I call update mesh, I think so update mesh. Okay, so updating mesh. Where do I grab the mesh? Mesh handle, cell data, sum, entity, getter. Cells. Is a query for the entity, which is your mesh handle and your cell type. Okay, then we use cell type where? To handle ID. So we do need to go to our island and go. I need to make sure. So this is still going to use the same mesh because the Bevy asset loader will return fresh water and deep water. And finally, I think the reason that that's grey is because I never exported this one. Yeah, export this. Little dot should go away. No, it's not saved. Interesting. Anyway, and that's deep water. Alright. So the way I've got it set up is that you can load. I was originally using strings here, but nightly rust and the toolchain that I use that automatically compiles and makes executables when I push a release version doesn't work with nightly. I tried converting it and I don't understand it well enough to convert, so this just uses indexes into a hash into an array that specifies sand and water. So yeah, it's loading sand. Then so this is going to load the water mesh 3 times. Shouldn't particularly matter because I mean obviously it's going to be a little bit of overhead of loading them again, but it's just going to go, oh yeah, it already exists. So it's going to be a bit of computation overhead at startup, but no memory overhead because they all use the same meshes, so they should all generate the same handles. Anyway, back. Oh, okay. I should just turn that off. Maybe I did. Yeah, I did. Good. You don't blind from the Bevy game. I keep leaving that game open and not being able to see. Okay. So, with those amazing modifications, we should... Hey, you're in debug mode and it didn't spit an error this time. Interesting. Hey, look, it's... Well, it worked. The fresh water is definitely not blue enough, but this is what I was going for, except it's checking. Also, what broke my inventory? Are they? If I push and release, it's going to have a bunch of updates to do. Alright, well, again, while that's going, let's get to our blue. Let's go to our blue and be like, let's just increase the lightness. Like I want the freshwater blue to be like really light. Okay. So deep water is only ever going to be used as the edge of the map, which means that what I can do is, since I spawn the map, I'm just trying to come up with things that I can modify fairly confidently while the game builds. Install. So it's here. In our map, when we load the map, we load it or we generate it. Alright, and at the moment there's no way to specify a larger size of map. And since I insert all the map cells and the map at spawning, spawn map. So we get the player's map out of the PK store. we then mutate save. Right. So I'm gonna have a little. Can I do const inside function? Const map size equals 2. Your size, I think. Cool. Okay. So we're gonna come down here, and we're gonna go in radius map size. New takes me U32, so it's U32. Okay, and that means you also map size. So we spawn a new map, build with planets with a single palm tree in the middle. Okay. So that means that we're going to go. So we'll spawn all of them, and then we're going to say for ID in ID's ring iterator map size +1. Then we're going to do the same logic we do here of spawning all the stuff we need for a cell, except custom serial week. Default name is cell. Added. So your cell ID is going to be that, and your cell type is going to be a map cell. And this is going to be deep water. Right. Then we need to go somewhere. We have one called save map. And I believe saving map gets access to all map cells, which means we need to go for entity okay query dot get if so we should go back up here and pop that. I don't think we need the entity then. Wait, no, we do need to insert. We need to insert it. No, because if it's not in the map, it just returns. It returns deep water if it's not in the map. So we need to get our map size. I've made map size a constant here just because in the future I want to be able to let the player specify how large the map is so that more powerful computers can have larger maps. And the idea would be like turning a page of a book sort of thing of like you can say, hey, my computer can't handle more than a map size of like 6 cells across, and then but you can be like, oh, okay, I want to go north, and it'll load the next 6 cells so that you can still have an infinite map without. It's kind of like Minecraft's render distance, but at the moment I've just fixed map size. Anyway, so we then spawn all the cells at map size +1, and then here we're going to say if id dot distance range. No. ID definitely has something that we can. No. Cell ID. Maybe it doesn't have a range. It should have a range, but I may have clipped that by accident. Neighbors. So that's a hex. Yeah, I think I didn't bring that over. We're looking for import cell ID. Okay. So. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm interesting. Watching the replay may help my channel more than watching the actual stream, because from looking at it, it'll tell me like how many watch hours I got from the stream, but then it'll be a different like tracked number when I go to analytics, which makes me wonder if the watch hours from this live count towards my overall watch hours to get monetized, because I'm close, but not quite there yet with getting monetized. but hopefully you enjoy the VOD back. I try to make them interesting even when I'm not engaging with chat, just because, you know, watching the back, but I could see them being a little bit tedious because if you're not actually there, they're going to be, you know, me talking and getting distracted all the time, which I know is really infuriating when I watch this kind of content, is when they get distracted doing something. That I'm like, just hurry up and get it done. But it is really hard to stay focused. Just pop over to my so what I like about you, like having a game that I've already partly implemented, like a lot of this stuff, is it's just like I can just be like, oh yeah, I need this functionality. At some point, I intend to release my my hexagon grid cell ID system, and that would mean that I don't need to keep copying and pasting stuff across, but it's not really there, and so I just keep copying and pasting it across, because otherwise I have to like link it by path, and that breaks other things. Like I already had someone report on my waveform collapse that it was broken because I had it linking to my hex ID crate. Right, then we got Adidas distance. From cell ID 0 is greater than map size. Continue. So basically, this is doing is when we save the map, if the cell is greater than the size of the map, don't save the cell. This means that because when I spawn the map, I basically spawn your map in and then go one ring more. Like, I guess what I do is I spawn the map size of water, checking to see if you've got like an island already. If there is an island, I place it. If there's no island, I don't. Then I do one. I just added the ability to go one ring more, adding deep water. So there'll be a ring of deep water around the edge of the map. And then when I save, just do the same thing, but like if you're in that outside ring, remove, like don't bother. And because we iterate, and the map, actually, this may not even be necessary, map.map, because we're iterating through the map, and I never insert them into the map because we run with the assumption. I'm going to leave it there for now. So, I don't know what I broke that's removed my entire inventory. Because obviously the save's still there. If I trim a leaf, do I get a leaf? I do, so something broke my inventory. That's interesting. I'm probably going to break a lot of saves for doing this sort of thing, because I haven't quite worked out exactly how things are going to work. I know I broke the save. No, because it was working before, when I was setting up this island. Maybe that's it. I swap back and forth between two different builds of the game, so that could have broken the save. Or it's going from debug and release. It might be going from debug and release, because if I go to... No, that shouldn't have done it either. Anyway, the PK store creates a folder, which means that folder may have a release and a debug save file. Like, anyway, don't look at how full my hard drives are. Just ignore that. Annoyingly, I've got like 2 terabytes I can't access because Windows is being a dick and saying like you can't access it because it's got a small partition in between and I can't get rid of the small partition. But, you know, so that's saving and loading. So we're gonna exit. We're gonna exit and then relaunch. All right. Add underscore system. I'm gonna say like FN. Dynamic update. And that's going to do absolutely nothing, and it's going to happen on a system dynamic update dot in schedule fixed. How do I do a fixed update? Timestamp. No, that's the system set version, which means that's outdated. Hey, look, there's a GitHub example. Don't mind me, I'm doing something on the other monitor. Okay, so add system. Add systems update. Add systems. Insert resource. Is this Bevy man? Is this update? Yes, man. Okay. So add systems. Add our system to the fixed. Okay. Wait, have they changed this? No, tell me that. This seems like it. Fixed update. I'm gonna have to go back to the Bevy 10. Release 10.1. Hey, okay. Hey, they've changed it again. That's fun. So apparently there's going to be another API change in main, because it's, or like in the next Bevy update, because it's already trickled into the main. Okay, so we're going to say fixed. No, dynamic system dynamic update dot in underscore schedule. So that was all correct. It's core schedule fixed update. Okay. So this is the scheduler that controls system which only run after a fixed period of time has elapsed. Okay. Dot. Fixed. Now insert resource. Fixed time new from seconds. Have it be every 10 seconds. So basically, I want the logic for calculating info system. What do you mean dynamic update? What? In schedule, core schedule, update schedule. Oh, it's update system. Okay, let's go back to the chat and see if anyone's talking. Okay, cool. So every 10 seconds I'll run the dynamic update. And the idea being that I kind of want it to be computationally, I don't want it to be, but I expect it to be somewhat computationally expensive to calculate what the new map looks like. So I'm going to do things like, not A-star, flood search for things like the islands. So what it's going to do is each cell is going to periodically check around it and go, oh, I touched, or each water cell, I guess, is going to go, every 60 seconds, going to go, everything around me, is it water? Okay. Is it water? Okay. And we might even have a resource that says, is called like update. So we want to say obstruct need update, right, like this, and we're going to go derive resource, right. So we have the resource called need update, and then we can also say this dynamic update to dynamic update dot run if resource exists. Okay, and then the resource is going to be need update, which we rename this to need map update. Right, So the need map update will run the expansive system only if the map's been changed. We could also run it in a background thread, but again, we still need to not, like every time the user changes something, run an expensive computation, even if it's in a background thread, because then you're going to have a weird like delay if it takes like, say 30 seconds to calculate it, which obviously it won't because we're calling it once every 30 seconds. But if it took 30 seconds to update, you don't want it to be like you do something and then in 30 seconds that update applies to the map because it was happening in the background. And you've changed something else, so then that happens. So you end up with like this weird delay to things happening, especially considering if it's using like all the computational energy to try and do the first one, and then it does the second, or maybe they'll happen out of order. So you kind of just, want it to only update if it needs to. So the way the dynamic map's going to work is we're going to take in a query for all immutable map cell, not optional plan. Oh, here comes our game. It didn't spawn our desired outside ring, or it didn't. It's broken. Our inventory is still broken. Interesting. Why didn't it spawn out? Okay, the stream's going to come to the end soon. I just want to finish implementing the system. So we spawn the map. Ring. Spawn. Why didn't that work? Have I not saved this? Is that why that didn't work? Maybe that's why that didn't work. Let's try that again. So we're going to query taking all map cells. I guess we didn't take in all map cells. We could just take in the map. Resource. Map data. Okay, do I actually store that on the map cell? I do. So we probably will need access to all mutable map cells. Real, I'm going to say maybe. So the distinction between real and map is that. Wait, no, you just link the entity to data. The actual map cell is stored on itself. That's right. I can't remember how all my systems work. It's very confusing. So then we're going to say like, for now, it's just going to check to see if you can access water, which means that for cell in map dot values. I guess we can iterate each entity. Right. No, so it's for cell in real cell. So we're going to iterate through every cell that has a map cell. If cell equals map cell deep water, return. Continue. Don't return. Continue. So we skip deep water cells because they will always be fixed cells. You can't. The player won't be able to interact with them. Then we say if cell equals water or cell equals. I guess we should just match. Just match. match cell. Do this. Do this. Okay. Water and fresh water are going to do the same thing. Deep water is just going to continue. And you're going to do the same thing, because at the moment sand is not going to do anything special. So you're going to do something, which means you just build more wall. Okay. Bypass change detection. Okay. Then we're going to say that you do something. Okay, so here. So the fresh water, we're going to go. We might need your ID. Yes, we will need your ID. Cell ID. So we need to know which cell we're doing. So cell and our ID. Okay. So what's next? So cell ID. Then we're going to say for around in ID range spiral. We want a spiral. We want to go here, and we're going to have a radius of map size times 2 plus 1. Okay. Okay. So now we need to work out what the other cell. To work out what I'm doing, really. So we're going to go through each cell around you. So we're going to say if let sum other equals map dot get around and then we're going to say let other equal this is running out. It's still not spawning the outer ring. I don't get it. Also, we need to run it in not release mode so that I can actually debug it. Other real dot get other. Okay. Then we're gonna say like just skip it. Else error cell in map needs to have valid entity. So that will just log my error. Okay, now we have access to other and underscore. Right, so we don't need to know what your ID is. So for the cell, we're gonna sure. Wait, is it? Do I need to go like ID offset iter? Offset iter. With offset. Dot with offset. Okay. So with offset. Okay, and then this is going to have the offset of ID. What do you mean? Okay, dereference. Alright, so the width offset is just, again, like I've made all of the stuff for my other game. So the hex spiral will start with the cell you give it and spiral out. The then we specify a range, so it'll go up to 2 times the map size, which means one far edge will check all the way to the other far edge. And then with offset is a helper function that converts it to an offset thing, which just is the same iterator, but it'll just apply the offset with each value returned. We're going to go into the map and get the entity for the cell that we want. We are then going to go through, we're going to get that cell's type, and we're going to say we need like an we'll just go let new set underscore quarter equals, it's going to be a vec new, and we're going to say let set mute set underscore fresh equals vec new. So type annotation needed. Yeah, okay. So we're going to say if, well, the thing is, it's spiraling out. I need some kind of algorithm that's going to so we can skip the nuns. If see, that's, the issue is we need to kind of spiral up. So we probably can't use the spiral. We would need to probably do something like for ring in 0 dot dot, or I guess 1 dot dot equal to map size times 2 plus 1. Then we would have to pop this down here, and we're going to say, so this would then become a hex ring iterator for the ring, and then with offset. So now we're going to iterate through each ring. That found underscore out equals true. This is not going to work particularly well because this will only allow for single-sized lakes. I kind of want all lakes to be possible, like any size lake, as long as it doesn't touch the map edge. But so what we're going to do is we're going to iterate. So found is false. Found out is false. Then while we're iterating through the ring, we're going to get every value, and then we're going to say if other equals so let's just match other. Match other. So control dot. There we go. So if you find water found out equals true. If you find fresh water, it's the same. So basically, if you find any water tiles, then technically, like, you have to check from them as well. Mute sand. If you find sand, do nothing, because that doesn't mean anything. And then if you find deep water, set water equals dot push ring ID. No ID. Yes. No entity. No. You gotta push self. So let me just grab your entity. And our entity. So the idea being that we then push entity. Okay. So what does that do? So we basically check the other. If it's fresh water, we say found out is true. Okay. Right. We need to say like underscore. Alright, so check the other. If it's found out, we set found out to true. We set water. We finish iterating through the around. When we get to here, we're going to say if found out equals if not found out, continue. Right, and this one needs to next. Okay, so you push set water and then continue next. Right, so you set water, then continue next. So this iterates ring, and then so if didn't find out, set water fresh dot push entity continue no break. So if it didn't find the ring, set break, we break out. So basically we're going to iterate through the ring. If it ever finds a completely closed ring, it will break out of the ring. That's going to go through every single entity like so, and then we're going to say for set up water in set water if let okay underscore blank cell blank equals real dot get water, and then we say cell dereference cell equals map cell water. This is going to be fresh, set fresh, real water, fresh water. How's that working? Okay, wait, this pattern. Okay, so much for ending soon. Right, we get underscore neat. I think if this, as long as this compiles, I might just call that good. The game is still not spawning that outer ring, so I really do not know. Can I borrow? Is this mutable? Why can you not borrow it as mutable? Okay, because yeah. Alright. Did it work? It did work. I have no idea. Ring. Spawn ID. Water cell ID. Why are you not... Like, my suspicion is that it's just not rendering. And it is, in fact, still there. Okay. Yeah, they're there. They're just not... They're not rendering. Why are they not rendering? Cell type, deep water... Anyway. Anyway, so with that, it's got... I lost my inventory which I can't test things. In theory, when this updates, it would remove that. I need to grab something with just root. If I go like root, add root, taste. What did I add? Oh, I'd have to add all sorts of weird things. I think it's coconut leaf in this version. I changed the recipes. That's what's happened there. Okay. That. Okay. Okay. So we want to go here. We want to go. We need this and this. Let's go here, go here, go here, go boop. No, okay, that turns it to sand. I can't really test it, and it's going to take ages to modify that. But the fact that it doesn't crash, I have no way of knowing if it's running in the background every 30 seconds or whatever. Or we never set needs update, but the hope is that this will set. I guess that's one thing we can test. Is mod, no, meshes mod here, go down here. So the last thing you do, we need commands. Commands and slash. We need to say something like commands dot remove resource map update. Need map update. So we remove the need map update at the end, and when we say make island, we go need access to commands. Command. So this then will only run when we actually change the map. So remove cell equals water. So we say commands dot init resource. Need map update. It doesn't do. Okay, just insert. Okay, so my inventory should be saved, which means that when I relaunch, it won't need to make the potion again. And I think we'll call that to it. When am I updating? Every 10 seconds. So once I spawn a potion, if it doesn't crash within 10 seconds, I'm going to say that it at least worked. The annoying thing will be is if I throw the potion and the center island turns to sand, or if I throw the potion and the if I throw the potion and it turns to, and they all turn to water. They all turn to fresh water. At least I know that it worked. Just backwards, but it worked. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll probably do another stream maybe tomorrow. But I've got to go make dinner, and I will see you all there.